With that, first item on the agenda is to approve the resolution for the Brookings Harbor School District condemning racism and committing to being an anti-racist school district. Now, if we recall, this is, we had in our board packet last time, and we had the wrong version, so we have that corrected at this time. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve the attached resolution.
Do you want to reread it, Alan?
Yeah, let's maybe do that after we get a motion on the table.
I move to approve the resolution. Did you hear me, Alan?
I did, and look for a second. Thank you.
All right.
I second.
All right, thanks, guys. So any discussion? And I think it's a good idea, David. Maybe we should read it out loud. How about Jay? You want to read that for us?
I don't have it in front of me.
Don't have it. Who would like a little reading lesson here? Someone have it in front of them? I think I can pull it up here. Okay, I think I've got it. So, resolution, whereas the Brookings Harbor School Board stands for social justice and equity for youth of all ethnicities and backgrounds. And whereas the Brookings Harbor School District embraces and encourages a diverse educational culture. And whereas the Brookings Harbor School District recognizes the importance of understanding implicit bias and how it can impact decision making, and are dedicated to not allowing that to occur. And whereas, as leaders, we will make a priority to budget for ongoing training with intention to eradicate these injustices from occurring in our district. And whereas, as leaders, we recognize that we are role models for youth, district employees, and the community, and will act in a manner that reflects this commitment in this resolution. Now, therefore, be it resolved on this 30th day of July 2020 by the Board of the Brookings Harbor School District that this district condemns and will not tolerate racism, racial violence, hate speech, and bigotry in all forms, and the district will work actively to dismantle any form of racism through a review of policies, practices, and district cultural norms. And the district affirms the value and importance of culturally responsive pedagogy and instructional practices that represent the diversity of our community. And the district believes that having a diverse faculty and staff reflective of the demographics of our students provides significant value to all students regardless of color, creed, religious belief, and gender identity, and will continue to work towards a more diverse workforce. Any questions, comments, or discussion on that, anybody?
I really appreciate this one. It feels like it's more specific to our community. I appreciate the importance of having implicit bias because that's something that all of us have. And I wholeheartedly support us as a district committing financially to continuing that education of what is implicit bias and how does it show up. And also, I just think it's important to, we're looking at different ways we can get our students involved, given the complexities of this school year. I think it would be helpful to have a group of students who are interested to come up with some different, what their resolution would be and what they would like to see us as, a board and administration and staff and community do to support them. Because I think hearing from them, specifically those who experience these implicit biases, would be very helpful for us going forward.
Yeah, good thought. Appreciate that. Okay, don't hear any other questions, comments, or particular changes to it. Which, no, I certainly appreciate that. It's a great, powerful message, I think, that we should all kind of refer to. So without further ado, let's go ahead and call for a vote with the motion on the table to approve the resolution as written. So, Janice.
I'll abstain.
Okay. Catherine.
Aye.
Jay.
Aye.
Janelle.
Aye.
And aye for me as well. Okay, thank you. Next action item on our agenda is to approve the MOU revising student start date to September 8th, 2020.
Alan, they're just telling me there's an audio problem, so if we could pause for, let's see.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. So we have closed captioning. Nancy is saying that we'll keep going. So let's just keep going since we've already have that and all the data is published. So she doesn't think she can fix it immediately, but we do have the closed captioning. So.
Okay, and I presume we have a recording here too, right? So,
Yeah, and Ellen, I am recording, so we could post this up afterwards as well.
Okay.
Great,
Good.
thank you.
Yeah, I think that's an acceptable method, I believe. So, okay, so the action item here on the table is to approve the MOU revising the student start date to September 8th. I know this was a topic at our last regular meeting, but perhaps Superintendent Marshall, maybe just give us a little bit of a revision again and where we're at with this.
Well, and it's remarkable how the picture continues to change, but regardless of the changes at the state level, we've all recognized that there's significant additional need for training and professional development and to prepare for the opening of school. And so it's actually, I think most of the districts, if not all in our region, are doing a similar approach of delaying school for the students a little bit to allow more time to be as prepared as we can for that. And so as you'll notice in there, we still have the days the prior week, so this adds to them for staff, which is a real huge benefit. 2 of the days are what we would call, they'd be like staff directed, but for the purpose of planning and collaboration and working together to make sure that they are ready. And then we also have on there that for those additional 2 days, if we may need to have classified staff do other tasks if they're not directly involved in supporting the planning work going on with the licensed staff. So the language was able to clarify that. And that if a classified person is asked to do a duty that they're not able to do, they just follow the process with their supervisor and request an accommodation or a different duty during those times. And then the 3 days are district directed, meaning that will be district and or building training. So district in general, some of those we may say, okay, high school, this is your time to do the planning work with your staff, but it's directed from essentially the management end of it for those times. So hopefully that will be enough. There may never be enough on that, but I was very pleased that the association was very much on board with that, and then with your prior support of it.
Okay, good. So yeah, that's going to be my question, I guess, is what's presented to us as written here. Does that pretty much accomplish the goals that you have for this change, and it's going to be workable, it sounds like then?
Yes, yeah, it was actually a little bit of back and forth, and it was just clarifying because what I wanted to make sure of is that, with planning and preparation, all of the folks will have different roles in that, but there obviously may be different or less direct student planning for classified staff. And so there's other things that need to be done, and we have the ability to do that during those 2 days. If, let's say, the teachers are engaged in the PLC, and my role doesn't need me to participate in that, we can assign them to do other things that are needed to help support getting ready for school to open.
Okay, great. Oh, from the board, I'd be looking for a resolution, or excuse me, a motion to approve the MOU that we have written in front of us today.
I will make the motion to approve the resolution that we're looking at.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any further questions or discussion from the board on what we have? Okay, let's go around the table for a vote then. Janice?
Aye.
Catherine?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
And Janelle?
Aye.
Okay, and aye for me as well. So thank you very much for everyone's cooperation on that. And I know the picture is changing probably hourly, but I think a little bit of flexibility couldn't hurt anybody here. So that's going to be a nice piece to have for all of us, I think.
Thank you, and we'll make sure we get that communicated out to the community, at least that's one known change.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next action item is the approval of the hire recommendation for Associate Fiscal Services Director of DD Corporating. So perhaps again, Mr. Marshall, we could ask just a little bit of the process and how we got to your recommendation here.
So as you're hopefully aware, we posted the position a number of weeks ago and accepted both internal and external candidates. We had an initial, I don't remember the initial candidate pool, one person dropped out. And so we interviewed 3 different candidates. And the consensus of the screening team was that Dee Dee was the strongest candidate with a combination of her, she has some skills with accounts payable, but also her just background and knowledge of the district is fairly extensive, and that felt like that was a significant asset for somebody who would need to learn that position. So, and as I've already mentioned, and you'll note with the associate title, so the intent there is one, that we will be providing extensive ongoing support for the entire year up through this time next year. We've contracted with services through OASBO, the State Business Managers Organization, and so that person will actually be on site starting on Monday for a few days to kick things off, working on a calendar, priorities, all that sort of thing. And Dee Dee has been working directly with Jared on regular check-ins just to make sure all of the stuff between now and then are taken care of and we have enough money in the appropriate accounts. So the intent is upon successful completion of her training and support that then this time next year we would just move her to being the director of finance.
No, great. No, I appreciate the process we took here. And I guess from the board's point of view, I would like to ask for a motion for the approval of the hire recommendation.
I move to approve the hire recommendation for Associate Fiscal Services for DD Corporating or Danielle Corporating.
Thank you, Catherine.
I will second that motion.
Thank you, Janice. Any questions or discussion on the motion we have in front of us by the board?
I have a question that I don't know if we just in regards to Dee Dee's replacement. Dee Dee, and I think you mentioned something, David, and I don't know if this is really the appropriate time.
Yeah, Catherine, I appreciate that. Let's maybe
I think we
have
could
a little
do that
sidebar after this.
If we could do that, that would be great.
Yes, but we do have a plan in place.
Yeah. So the comment in this portion regarding Dee Dee is Dee Dee, way to have the confidence in yourself. I think that you will do a phenomenal job in this role. And I think that if anybody in our this school district has been able to observe all the ins and outs, it's been you. So I'm looking forward to seeing you take this on. And I think it's just as brave as being the board secretary and doing the human resources. So.
Well, I do want to share that I was here, I think 3 weeks before I learned her full name was Danielle.
I'm not sure I knew that till I read it in the
I know.
Tell you the truth. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, comments from the board?
Congratulations, Dee Dee.
Well,
Thank you all, you guys. You aren't going to get rid of me too easily.
No, in fact, you still attend board meetings.
Yeah.
Just in a different role. You don't have to be up front.
Well, let's go through the formality here and call for a vote in this case. Janice.
Aye.
Catherine.
Aye.
Jay.
Aye.
Janelle.
Aye.
And aye for me as well. And I would echo that. Congratulations, Dee Dee. I'm very happy that this worked out to have your depth of knowledge and experience continuing on with our district in an even broader role. So I'm excited for it as well. So that was fun to have done here and exciting to move forward. So appreciate that.
Yes, very much.
Maybe David, real quick, what is the plan for board secretary? And if you have a little moment or two just to kind of share with us what your thoughts there are.
So, Alan, just real quick, can I ask my question? Because
Oh yeah,
Dee Dee wasn't just board secretary; she was also did
sure.
an immense, incredible job in human resources. So I just
Yes.
and the amount of training that she's had has been phenomenal. So I'm just wondering what that's going to look like going forward.
Yeah, I guess I meant the old DD role, probably all encompassing.
Yeah,
Right?
great, thank you.
So what we're looking at is both I guess I would kind of say a short term, because we have this period of time that's coming up within the next week or so when Terry will be unavailable and out on parental leave for several months. And so during that period of time, we actually have a planning meeting set up for next week within our DO staff of looking at how we can potentially slice and dice the duties and responsibilities to be freeing up Dee Dee so that she can be focusing more on her new role. And some of it, like for example, with the human resources, that's an area of strength of mine, and so that's my intent. The short term would be to support those parts of it. Some of the other parts, the data collections, that sort of thing, we're just going to map out for the couple of months in front of us. And as I shared with the group, that the intent is to, I would call it apprentice Nathan Hanscom. He's been doing a tremendous job here at the DO, and will be doing payroll for the duration while Terry is unavailable. And so having him start to assume parts of that role over the next few months, and then once Terry's back, we'll be at full capacity and able to really accelerate that. And the sideline benefit of this is we will have a very well cross-trained DO staff. Part of it would be I intend to look at being strategic about potentially bringing some specific help on board. There's folks who are trained in accounts payable that person could potentially come in, help maybe free up Grace for being able to do some additional prep duties so that we can essentially not overburden anyone. I did consider and thinking about looking district-wide, but I felt like this was not a good time to say, okay, we're going to pluck a lead secretary from a building with all the work that we're looking at. And so, and I think Nathan will grow very well into that role, especially with the expertise and support that we have within our DO staff.
Okay, sounds like you got a lot of thinking about it already, so that's good to kind of have a few pieces lined up. So
yeah. And next week we're going to dive right into the nuts and bolts of it. We were waiting, essentially felt it was appropriate to wait for the official confirmation moving ahead with Dee Dee, and then I've already started to have the conversations about making sure that we're not overloading any one person, but that we are going to all share the extra work until Terry's back, and then I'm really excited about the capacity that we will have at the DO.
Got it. So if I understand you correctly, you're looking more short term because of a lot of reasons, but there may be a point in time when you post the position to come available for the district?
I think the intent right now would be if, and I have had a conversation with Nathan about this, would be, just like Dee Dee's, this is a 1-year cycle of training and support, and that if Nathan performs well in the role, there's no reason why we wouldn't just continue to keep him in the role. He may also choose to say, this isn't what I want to do. And then with looking at the year cycle, that would be very easy for him to be able to move back into a classroom IA position if that was his option. So it's on both sides of the conversation of it needs to work out well from our end, needs to be a good fit from our end, and it needs to be a good fit from Nathan's end as well. And this gives us that ability to do that.
Okay. I'll just share. My only concern is that I haven't had a chance to meet Nathan. I don't know how long he's been with our school district, but I don't know if there are individuals who have been with us much longer that would have liked the opportunity to apply for the job.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that's something just to be mindful of.
Yes, I understand.
And I wholeheartedly understand what you're doing given the circumstances. It would be very hard to thrust somebody in at this point, given what's going on. So I just feel like we need to be mindful of that.
And I did do some initial informal asking around to just get a sense of that as well. So nothing full on or official, and I just didn't feel appropriate to post it at this time. But we do have that flexibility, and I think that he's a local kid and has really fit in very well with the DO staff, and so I think that it can certainly be reconsidered down the road, but I'm really excited with the direction that we have moving forward to help get us going with this school year.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, and then one just note I'll ask the board of while we're gathered for the moment. Mr. Marshall sent an email out just late this afternoon asking us to perhaps consider another special board meeting, maybe about the same time next week, at which time he and the district staff will have a little more data that he'd like to share around the survey that have been going on with district parents and perhaps some new plans of as we get closer to the start of the school year. So I'm just going to start by suggesting, how does everyone feel about 4 o'clock next Thursday for maybe another quick check-in?
I am available at 4 o'clock on Thursday. The 6th.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, 6th, I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm available as well.
Okay. Jay, Janelle, is that reasonable? Probably.
Sure. Alan, say those again.
I would just start off by saying the same time next week, Thursday at 4, be the 6th at 4 o'clock. Or if that's a challenge, we could probably move around a little bit.
No, that's fine. 4 o'clock. I'm
Okay.
looking.
Okay, well, Dave and Dee Dee, let's just gonna repeat this same time, same place next week, and we can get an update and a little better picture of the start of the school year from what we've learned.
Yeah, we should have a fair amount of information to share, both locally, statewide, and have a conversation about some potential decision points, because obviously those are rapidly approaching. So it felt the need to get the board feedback sooner than later.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, keep it at under 30 today, it feels like. So
Wow.
appreciate once again everyone's time, and have a great afternoon. Let's go ahead and adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. Great
Thank you.
work.
Thank you.